I just finished my my inspection, and they didn't go throughout the whole house, but it was pretty quick. I didn't want to tell you about it, but if you can't talk, that's totally fine. We can talk later. Okay. Love you.
Jaylo?
Yes.
How's it going, babes?
Good. I was a little bit tired waking up this morning, but otherwise I feel good. I'm still awake.
We are doing this a little bit earlier than usual at around 8:30, but it's all good. It's Friday.
That is okay.
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
Who does that one?
Oh, I forgot. I had to check. I don't remember.
What time did you get up?
I got up about 6, and I was worried that I was going to oversleep, but I got up about 6.
I'm always worried about that on Friday
Yeah.
because I come over here. I got up at 6:11.
Okay.
And I felt really good. I didn't go to bed until maybe 11:30 or 12, but I slept like right through.
Yeah. I did. I think I went to bed about 10:30ish. I was really tired. I woke up periodically. I think I woke up at 1, but then I went right back to sleep.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I went right back to sleep because I was like, yeah, I tired.
Did you have an alarm this morning?
I did not. I was just listening to something. Sometimes what I do, because lately I've been listening to stuff when I go to sleep, and what I do is I'll use what I'm listening to as an alarm, because it'll tell me it's 6 o'clock or it's 5 o'clock, and this is whatever. This is going on, or whatever it is. So I haven't had to set an alarm for a while.
That's good.
Yes.
Yes. What were you listening to last night?
I was listening to some stuff on the radio, and that's probably why I had a weird dream, but I'll get to that dream later.
You told me an interesting story that you heard on Dateline NBC. Was that when you were getting ready for bed or earlier?
I was listening to it before I went to bed. Actually, after that was over, I went to bed. So it was interesting. It was about this guy who claimed to be a Rockefeller. He was assuming different names and pretending to be a guy from England, and in the midst of all of that, his landlords were missing, and it was a big mess. He claimed that his name was Clark Rockefeller. That was one of his aliases. Yeah, Clark Rockefeller, and he even married somebody, and she thought. This is gonna be strange to you. She thought it was legal because he told her that he was a Quaker, and that they got married at this Quaker meeting house, so they thought that it was legitimate. But after this thing was unraveling, they couldn't tell her who she was married to, so it's possible that the marriage wasn't even legal. Because of what's been going on with him.
That's bizarre.
It's very bizarre, yeah. It's very bizarre.
Did you ever listen to Tim Dog when you were a kid?
Tim Dog?
Yes.
No.
He had a couple of albums, but his big hit was a song called Fuck Compton. And it was basically a diss track of NWA.
Oh, okay. I don't know why we're talking about this.
Well, I'm going to explain it to you. He died, I want to say, in 2015, roughly.
Right.
But a couple years before then, they did a profile of him on Dateline NBC because apparently he was scamming girls out of some money.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't even heard of this kid.
Well, he wasn't a kid, but yeah.
Well, this guy, whatever.
Yeah. But it was bizarre. To hear about.
Was he like an underground hip-hop artist?
He wasn't underground. He was signed to Rough House, which was a pretty big label back in the day. I mean, he was more of like a one-hit wonder, and the hit was a little bit regional to the East Coast.
Okay, that's probably why I haven't heard it.
Mm-hmm. But it was shocking to watch a story about him on Dateline NBC. And who knows if it was true, but that's what they were saying.
Well, remember when I told you that story about DJ Freeze?
Refresh my memory on the story.
He was, they were on the lookout for him because he was convicted of murdering a woman. I forgot who it was. And, he was known, in the clubs because he was a famous DJ and his name was DJ Freeze. And I think it was a 2020 story. And I saw this like I think 2 or 3 years ago. And, I think I heard his name before, but I didn't realize how famous he was. And, he is, I think if he didn't already go to trial, he will go to trial. And so he got in trouble for, he was wanted for murder. So if he was convicted, I'm not exactly sure. So I got that wrong. But it was a crazy story. Yeah.
It's always bizarre when you hear about somebody who you've known of suddenly being in legal trouble.
Yeah. But there's a lot of people that do that. Or you find out that this person got in trouble and they completely changed their life around. Or you thought that they've gotten in trouble and they didn't.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You mean like they were accused of something and it turns out
that they didn't do it right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff is interesting to me.
It is very interesting, yes.
Yeah, well.
Yes.
Last night, before going to bed, I was listening to Howard Stern, which I know isn't that big of a shock.
No.
But he had on John Stamos.
Whoa, really?
Yes. And John Stamos has been on his show many times before.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right, so it's not a huge thing. But they were talking about, apparently he went into rehab like 6 years ago for some alcohol stuff.
Really?
That's the impression I got from listening to the interview.
Wow.
He's always seemed like a nice enough guy.
I didn't know that.
Then they talked about Lori Loughlin or Lachlan?
Lachlan. Yeah, that's a tragic, that's pretty sad. The whole thing is a mess.
My theory is, babes, within a year, she's going to write a book and be accepted back into the mainstream.
I don't know. I mean, she was Aunt Becky for so long, and then she had a career on the Hallmark Channel. So I don't know. It's going to take a while for her to get her career back on track. I really don't know that it's going to be easy for her. Was he expressing his disappointment, or was he expressing his sadness because he's worked with her for years?
He basically said that he didn't want to speak for her, but that they got along really well.
Mm-hmm. They did have good chemistry on screen. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Full House fan, but I obviously watched it as a kid, and they did work together well.
Yes.
But he said that he thinks that she's remorseful and, all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and people have their own opinions, as well. And I don't, I think that people do deserve a second chance. However, I do think that she does have to pay somehow. And I don't know that her not spending any time in prison is right. Because as far as I know, she's not in prison.
I thought she got sentenced to around 4 months.
I don't even know if she even had 4 months in prison. But I kind of think that, you know what? She has to be held accountable. And if she in fact was a part of it, which clearly she was, I would hate to see her be in prison, but she has to pay. Would you agree?
I would definitely agree. I think she did spend some time in jail, but something tells me it was one of these rich people's prisons, right? Where it's like more of a country club than Orange is the New Black. Yeah,
I don't know. We can only speculate, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that Phil Spector wasn't in a great prison. I think he was convicted of murdering his girlfriend at the time.
True, but he was also a celebrity. I don't know.
I think it's easy for us lay people to speculate how celebrities are being treated in prison. Mm. But I don't know that it's all that great for them either.
No, but I think they have it better than the general population.
I don't think they should have it better.
And obviously this is my assumption, having not spent a lot of time in prison. And even if I were to go to jail, it would be a different experience than somebody who's a rich celebrity.
Well, okay, so I'm going to bring up Martha Stewart because I don't really understand this whole story, because apparently she was in prison for a short time.
Yeah.
I don't remember. She wasn't just in prison, but before she went to prison, she was on house arrest.
I never saw that show. Sorry, dumb joke.
But I don't understand the entire story, but I don't even understand why she was in prison to begin with. But I also heard that they were making it sound like on the entertainment programs, like Entertainment Tonight, that she was going to be in this prison that they were calling Camp Cupcake or whatever it was.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, okay, yeah. And I didn't so don't quote me because I really don't understand why she was in prison to begin with. And I don't know what the deal is, but it had something to do with her Martha Stewart Living show. And I can't remember what it was.
I thought it was related. They accused her of insider trading, and a lot of people at the time were saying that she was railroaded and she didn't really break the law, but they were looking to convict a celebrity.
Yeah, she did not break the law, actually. Years later, they're finding out that she actually didn't.
Oh, really? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I know that was also the speculation at the time. Was that
no,
they
and
were
I
just unfairly going after her.
Yeah, they were, and I thought, well, I could understand if she was embezzling money from the show, right? Because you should be in prison for embezzlement, but it didn't sound like. I think it's because she may have talked to some FBI person or something. I can't remember what it was.
I don't know the details, but according to you, it came out later that she was wrongly convicted.
Yes, she was. So I don't even know why she was in prison for long, but they made it sound like on the entertainment programs that her prison that she was in was definitely not like the prisons that everybody else goes to.
No, celebrities have like a whole different lifestyle in prison. I remember back in the early 90s, you would hear these stories about super rich people getting arrested. Like drug dealers overseas or, stock manipulators.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they do these profiles and they would say at these really, really nice prisons.
I don't think they should have that luxury. I really don't.
No, it's a different system for the rich.
It's not like I don't think it's for all rich people, but it's, the prison should not be like hotels.
I agree.
Or country clubs.
Yeah.
Because I think that the motivation is that you don't want to go to prison and you don't want to be in prison and you actually want your freedom.
I remember there was a thing with John Wayne Gacy about how he was friendly with all the guards and would just have people brought to him for sex and get all this cool food in prison.
Some prisoners are that conniving and manipulative, though. Mm-hmm. Right?
It's so strange to me that there was actually, or there is a picture out there of John Wayne Gacy hanging out with Rosalind Carter.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
I think, in all fairness, that was at a fundraiser, and at the time, he was a respected businessman.
I was watching the Oprah Winfrey Show, and John Wayne Gacy's sister was on there, and I think she has a lot of regret because she didn't realize what was going on until much later, that her brother was like completely demented.
This brings us to an interesting question.
Yeah.
If it turned out that one of your sisters was a serial killer and you were the only one who knew about it, would you contact the police?
I really don't know how to answer that.
Oh.
I would have to at some point because I wouldn't want anyone to be killed. I think I would have to, or I would have to tell somebody before I contacted the police.
What about one of your nieces or nephews?
And
you're like the only one who knows.
Yeah, that's hard to answer, Bubs.
Oh, I wouldn't, but that's just me.
But you would let all those people be killed, and you're the only one who knows who's killing these people. Well, and they don't deserve to die, by the way.
Like with,
really.
I don't think I could. I don't think I could turn in my sister or my nephew if they did something like that. I'm just listen. I'd have trouble sleeping at night, and I would definitely try to talk them out of doing it. But I don't know that I could do that.
I think I would have to eventually. I mean, somebody would have to, because they can't be in society. Doesn't matter if they're a friend of mine. Doesn't matter if they're my sister. Doesn't matter. I mean, think about it though. All these people are being killed by one person. Do you think that by not turning your loved one in, that you're not doing your part in getting justice for these people because they were killed for no reason?
This is also a theoretical argument because my nephew's pretty young.
Yeah.
And my sister, I don't believe has ever killed anybody, right?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't seem like that kind of person.
So it's easy to speculate, and maybe if it actually happened, I'd have a different viewpoint on it. Mm. But looking at it now, it would be very difficult to turn them in.
Yeah. I think it would be difficult for anybody to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to think, well, what about all the families that are missing their daughters, their sons, their fathers, whoever it is, or they found out that they were murdered and then they found out that it was by one person?
That's interesting. So,
I mean, think about it though.
Yeah,
it would be difficult, but you have to think about what's more important. Is it more important that your loved one is protected, or is it more important that these people who have lost family members get justice?
Wow.
I mean, think about that, though.
My nephew would definitely be harder to turn in than my sister.
Yes, I understand that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But luckily, at least of this state, I do not have to face that decision. Like John Wayne Gacy's sister. Although, I guess she didn't turn him in. No,
she didn't.
She just found out about it everybody else did.
I think she found out about it like everybody else did, and then I don't remember. I don't know how he got turned in, but he got turned in. That would be so tough to be known as the sister of such and such criminal, or the daughter or the friend of this person, right? I mean, can you imagine? I can't even imagine it.
That would be super weird.
That would be awful.
Without going into too much detail about this.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Because in some ways it's still a little bit raw.
Yeah.
I know people who have been accused of sex crimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking about super little kids or anything.
No.
But we're not talking about just to make this clear, we're not talking about somebody who broke into some lady's house. We're talking about stuff that's definitely very
right. So it's still sexual offense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And these people are known, so it's not like I'm hiding them or anything.
Right, exactly.
So let's make that clear. I wouldn't hide a friend for doing something.
Right.
And it's very strange. It's complicated. It's complicated. And
yeah.
I don't think I could be friends with I couldn't be friends with somebody who raped somebody.
Right.
And I wouldn't hide a friend who was guilty of a sex crime. And luckily, I've never had to keep that secret.
Right. Exactly.
So that's the one good thing is it's all people who've known and who've faced punishment for that type of thing.
Right.
But it is still kind of weird.
Well,
it's weird too because sorry to interrupt you,
yeah.
But somebody who was a mentor of mine in a way
mm-hmm.
was accused of something like that. And it came out pretty definitively that it's probably true.
Right. And I know someone who used to be my coach, and that he, the person that was at the receiving end of this treatment is a good friend of mine. And I just couldn't believe it. I was so shocked because that could have been me. That could have been me because I was one of his students. And the crazy thing about that, the way that sexual predators work too, is that they target people.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that I wasn't his target, but I can't even imagine what this girl has gone through and what kind of psychological damage that she has been through because of this. I can't even imagine.
It's crazy stuff. I have a very good female friend of mine.
Yes.
Who has not been accused of any sex crimes.
I would hope not.
As far as I know.
I hope not. Yeah. Yeah.
And I just wanted to clarify the thing about the mentor in case anybody thought I was like hanging out with people.
Right. Yeah.
And this person I haven't talked to in years. But
yes.
I was talking to my female friends. This was when the Jerry Sandusky thing was going on.
Oh yeah, it's a terrible. Yeah, that's a terrible crime. Yes.
She was talking about his victims, and she said something that I didn't really consider until she brought it up, but it definitely made me think over the years. She said, well, there are his victims who were sexually abused by him. She said to me, that's very wrong, and those people are going through a lot of trauma.
Yes.
And he has other victims. Mm-hmm. What she said was, consider all the kids that he didn't molest, but maybe they looked up to him like a mentor and somebody that was like a father figure who they could learn a lot about life.
Right.
And they go through all this time of knowing him. He never touches them. And then this comes out. How do you think they felt looking to him as somebody for advice and finding out how guilty he was? And and I really had this pause and think about that.
Well, I can tell you how I felt when I found out about my former coach. I was like, I lost all respect for this guy, and he never did anything to me, but because of the atrocious thing he did to somebody I knew, and I don't even know the details, but it was just like, how can you look those kids in the face knowing that you have done something wrong, or that knowing that you want to do something wrong?
Yeah.
And I started hearing stories about somebody commented to me a while back that the same person tried to hit on her. And I didn't even I've never met this person. This is a friend of mine at the time was on the phone with me, and she just happened to be on the line. And she was a part of a program that he was I guess he was one of the counselors in, and she admitted to me that he asked her out to dinner, and I'm like, that is disgusting. That is really disgusting. And so I thought about it. I'm like, whoa, that is crazy.
Without
really crazy
getting into the specifics.
Yeah.
I've been in situations where I've been a person of power, not Harvey Weinstein.
No.
But I've had some influence.
No.
And young people, girls, have hit on me. I've never been tempted by that. I say some crazy stuff, right? And I have some bizarre interests, but that always just felt very wrong to me, to take advantage of somebody in that situation.
I'm glad it has, because if it were some other guy, right? And if it were some other guy and they had the opportunity, they would just go for it. They'd be like, hey, I don't care. No one's catching me. You know, they're not going to be able to catch me. So why not? Right. So I keep saying right a lot. I don't like it. But I'm glad that you have that. It seems like that, the idea of taking advantage of somebody that you have power over is this innate thing that you just don't do.
It just feels so wrong to me. Now, listen, I have done plenty of creepy stuff as a young man going through life, and I'm sure I will again at some point in the future, but that is a step too far.
Yeah, but there's creepy, and then there's like, there's a little bit creepy, but then there's like, criminal creepy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You can be a little weird at times, but not so weird that you're going to get yourself arrested.
It's not only just not getting yourself arrested, you also want to take into account that you don't want to damage anybody.
No.
And we're all human. We're all going to hurt other people. And to some extent, yes, we are going to damage other people. Mm-hmm. But we don't have to deliberately do it if we can avoid it. Because the goal should always be to try to be the best person you can be and try to avoid really hurting somebody if possible.
Well, what makes me even more angry about this, and I think it's, I think that it is, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't find the word. It makes me angry that now, you're hearing more about women that are perpetrating these crimes. Mm-hmm. Women taking advantage of young men. And I remember hearing, a Dateline NBC story about this. And she was in her early to mid 30s when this happened. This kid was like 15 years old, okay? And she claims that he wasn't like, he wasn't acting like a boy and he was abusing her, but she was trying to convince the female prosecutor, hey, he was the one that hurt me and I was afraid of this kid. But she was the one in power. And she actually looked through all of her text messages with this kid and it looked like she was the one that was instigating it. And so I think she was trying to, it really made me mad because she was using the, damsel in distress thing, right? Oh, well, this kid was a big kid and he slapped me and he was the one that was hurting me and I was just this innocent girl. All right.
Yeah.
And it really made me, well, she definitely got in trouble for it. She didn't get off. She didn't spend life in prison, but she definitely spent prison time or is spending prison time. And I thought, well, good. She had to pay for that. And it really makes me angry when women are trying to play the innocent card that, I was manipulated by this kid and this kid was bigger than I was and he tried to hurt me when actually, the woman was very capable of doing damage to this kid. And it really does. It really makes me angry. And I think the anger is justified.
I agree.
I think they need to be held accountable. Well, here's another question that I know we're kind of on a tangent here.
No, go ahead.
What about the young girls that are minors that knowingly go after men? And these guys know that they're minors, okay? They find out later on that they're minors, but mm-hmm. the girls are the ones that are instigating whatever it is they're instigating. Do you think they should be held accountable?
Well, we have a couple of different scenarios with this because it's not a one-size-fits-all.
It isn't. Every case is different.
So let's look at two possible scenarios. Let's say it's a student who's like maybe 16 and a half, very wise for her age, and hits on a male teacher. Uh-huh. Or somebody who knows that she's underage. Yeah. But she's still flirting with him. Right. The man should still be held accountable because he's of an age where he knows better. And yes, that girl is flirting with him, but she doesn't know. She hasn't had enough life experience to get that a person of her age shouldn't be with a man who's an adult. Right? So you have that scenario. Mm-hmm. And in that case, no, the man should be held accountable. But let's take another scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have a girl who's, I don't know, 18, 19, and she has a fake ID, goes to a bar, meets a guy who's maybe mid-20s, and has sex with him.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that she should be held accountable, but I don't think that the guy should go to prison.
Well, no, because she's not a minor.
Well, no, she is. Oh, I see. Yeah, let's say she's 17.
Yeah.
And has a fake ID, looks older than her age, goes to a bar and has sex with the guy. I don't think that the guy should go to prison.
Well, here's a situation that I was in.
Tell me.
And this was like back in 2005, and So you know that I was in my early to mid 20s. I used to meet up with groups of people from a certain line that I was on.
Yeah.
Because you already know that I was a part of the chat line world for a bit.
Uh-huh.
Well, we go out. A bunch of us go out to this place. We go to this amusement park. It's a big amusement park in Washington State, and this girl. I won't mention her name. This girl is meeting up with us, but she brings her younger brother. And by this time, we don't know much about this girl. We just know that she brought her brother. That was kind of strange.
Yeah.
Her brother was like 12. And I think this was around, I forgot when that was. It was like somewhere in 2005. Or 2004, 2005. And then, so that's the first time I meet her. Second time I meet her, we go to this place called the Bullpen. It's a restaurant / bar. So there are families that can go, but I think what happens is that it becomes more of a bar like after 9 or something like that. I don't remember. You know how some restaurants are like that.
Mm-hmm.
And people can play pool and whatnot. Well, she goes there, and she's kind of, scantily clad. I think she was wearing some kind of a halter top. Well, we were finding out some more things. Not only did she go to the same high school as one of my friend's kids, but she was known around the school for trying to take people's boyfriends. In fact, she was trying to get with one of my friends, and she was trying to go after my boyfriend at the time. Now, I understand that she, and it turned out later on that she was underage, because she was trying to lie to me and tell me that she was really 18, but she wasn't. I think she was she might have been 15 or 16. I can't remember how old she was, but she definitely wasn't a minor. Do you think then, because people were finding out and they were avoiding her.
Yeah.
Like the plague. Unfortunately, my boyfriend was not helping matters. But he eventually did avoid her. Do you think that a girl like this should be held to some accountability?
Wow, that's a very interesting question.
And she knows that she's doing this, by the way. She knows exactly what she's doing. I'm not saying that her brain is developed, but she knows full well that she's going after these guys that are way, way, way older than her. In fact, she tried to go after my boyfriend.
And she's putting herself in a position by going to a restaurant / bar where there's a reasonable assumption that she's maybe a little bit older than she says.
Exactly. And you kind of have to wonder, well, why would she bring her 12-year-old brother to an amusement park? So that wasn't adding up.
Here's what I would say. Yes, and. So yes, there should be some accountability, and there should also be some understanding that she's young.
Oh, and by the way, she probably lied to her parents too.
Okay. And I don't know what kind of background she had, like what her relationship was like with her parents or her brother. So then the assumption becomes, well, maybe this person, while they should be held accountable to their actions, maybe a good solution would be some therapy.
Possibly.
For her.
I don't think she should be arrested. I don't think she should be arrested.
Well, no. Obviously not. She shouldn't be arrested.
But I do think that maybe the thing that she needs is some help. But I do think that there needs to be some accountability so that she doesn't do this again.
I would say therapy.
Therapy.
And obviously we're just making assumptions. I don't know this lady. But I think somebody in that situation, it's a cry for help.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to figure out what's making her cry.
Right. Right, exactly.
Yes. But this was before me, and now she's an adult.
Yes, she is an adult.
If she's still alive.
I am no longer friends with her, obviously.
Neither am I.
You don't know this girl.
Oh. Yeah.
So imagine my anger when I found out that she was like this. So I was just, I couldn't have a friendship based on lies.
No.
Yeah. That's not a good foundation for any kind of relationship.
Unless you're Steve Martin and Goldie Hawn.
Actually, my name is Jessica. That was such a fun movie. I love you, Gwen. Actually, my name is Jessica. Oh, that was so funny. and when his parents came to visit,
yeah,
and was she like was she naked or something, or
no? She was just hiding out in the bedroom.
It's like, oh, hold on, let me clean up. And that homeless supposed couple that was pretending to be her parents.
That was great.
And the guy was getting drunk. And the lady's like, you have to come out of there. She was so funny.
I wonder if Steve Martin and Goldie Hawn and Frank Oz are friends with each other to this day. Because, I mean, Frank Oz and Steve Martin made 3 great movies together.
Oh, yes.
Goldie Hawn was in one of them. And then they did a really bad movie together. Goldie Hawn and Steve Martin.
What is it?
It's called The Out of Towners, and it's a remake of a Jack Lemmon movie, which I have not seen. But okay. I saw the Steve Martin Goldie Hawn version, which is not that good.
The Jack Lemmon movie, when did that come out?
Around 1970.
Okay.
And the remake was maybe 2000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that great.
No.
Was he married to Goldie Hawn in the movie?
I believe he was. I only saw it once, and I remember thinking this is a very forgettable movie.
Oh. Was the plot line not that great?
I think if I remember correctly, they're visiting New York, and it's all this wild stuff that happens to them.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But I wonder if they are friends or not.
Maybe they are.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It's got to be hard being friends with Steve Martin, just because he's so intelligent.
And he's so funny.
No, I've heard, though, that in real life he's pretty serious.
Really?
Yeah.
He's not as funny as you would think he was.
Well, it's not that he's just yelling at people or think about dramatic stuff, but it's that he doesn't want to be on every minute and feel like he has to make people laugh.
Right. And I mean, he's so talented with his banjo, because I've heard clips of it. Mm-hmm. It's pretty good. And I'm like, wow, Steve Martin and he's so innovative.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's so innovative. I'm like, wow, that's great. That's great.
I mean, obviously, I would say most people from our generation are big Steve Martin fans. At least I am.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wish I knew more about more of his work, but I really admire him. I mean, he's really what a talented guy.
Yeah, he is.
I heard his banjo show is really good too.
Yeah. Yeah, I've known people who've seen it and said that he is amazing live.
And he's funny and also talented with his banjo at the same time.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes, yeah. Well.
And knowing that he's written for his own movies.
Not just that, but he's written plays. That
is pretty cool. I mean, you know that he's a already good comedy writer. I mean, what a career.
Yeah.
I think it'd be kind of fun to write comedies or to write for comedies.
Oh, no, that seems super stressful.
It sounds stressful, but it sounds like a lot of fun, too, if you like it.
He makes it sound very hard in his book, Born Standing Up.
Really?
Because he talks about when he worked on, I believe it was the Smothers Brothers. Was it I think it was the Smothers Brothers. I could be wrong. I read the book back in 2007 or 8.
Yeah.
And he made it sound like he felt he was going to be fired.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day he came up with this line for a sketch and he felt that saved his job, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, who knows how much of that is true and how much of that is just he was an insecure guy and they were never going to fire him because they liked his stuff already.
Right.
But I wonder what he feels like. Is he somebody who thinks to himself, I'm a successful person and look at me, I'm Steve Martin? Or does he think I'm an outsider and yeah, I've made some cool movies, but I really didn't accomplish much with my career?
Well, I mean, we are our own worst critics, so maybe he thinks the opposite of what everybody else thinks. Like, oh, are you kidding? He's Steve Martin. He can he can write almost anything. Or he can play a comedic person at the drop of a dime. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he could be thinking the complete opposite as to what everybody else is thinking and as they are admiring him. You know, because he is very, I mean, he's such a talented person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you will.
Yes.
Yes, you will.
That's right.
That's white, you will.
That's right.
Yes, babes. Babes.
Yes.
On Sunday, we watched the Enterprise incident. I believe is the name of the episode of the original series.
I think you should explain a little bit of the recap, and I can chime in with some thoughts.
Because I've seen this episode many, many times.
Yeah, and I was a little bit, I liked it, and I was a little bit confused.
Here's how it starts. Dr. McCoy is doing a medical log and saying that the captain has been acting pretty erratic over the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And he's refusing to take some medical tests to find out about his mental capability. The captain is shown on the bridge acting kind of short with his crew. Mm-hmm. He orders them to go into Romulan territory. They're like, Captain, we can't do that. You know, that's wrong. We're going to get in trouble from the Federation. He's like, I'll take the responsibility. They go in, and a couple of Romulan ships decloak and surround the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
They basically say, okay, you have one of your Earth hours to surrender your crew.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the ready room. There's a meeting, and Captain Kirk asks for options. Spock says, you know, if you didn't break these rules, you would not be in a position to where you would have to ask for our help.
Mm-hmm.
They decide to transport over to the Romulan ship, and some Romulan guards come to the Enterprise just as collateral.
Mm-hmm.
When they're over at the ship, they meet this really attractive commander female lady.
Yeah.
And I don't believe they ever say her name.
No, they don't. The only person who knows is Spock.
Which is a cool scene that we're going to get to soon.
Yeah.
The captain pretty much antagonizes her and, you know,
mm-hmm.
is eventually taken to their brig.
Mm-hmm.
He tries to break out. McCoy beams over to do a medical check because he gets injured. Mm-hmm. And Spock is connecting with the Romulan commander, or at least that's how she feels.
Mm-hmm.
They go down to see what's going on with the captain. Spock pretends to put a death grip on James T. Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Next time we see the captain, he is in sick bay. And it turns out that Captain Kirk, along with Spock, were planning this whole thing. Because the Federation wanted a cloaking device that the Romulan government had. And they couldn't just go in there and take it, because that would be declaring war. Mm-hmm. So instead, Captain Kirk had to pretend like he was losing his mind for a couple of weeks, and that it was a rebellious act. That way, if the Romulans ever called the Federation on it, they could say, well, this is a rogue officer. He doesn't represent us, and he's going to get in trouble. Right? So, Spock also faked giving him a Vulcan death grip.
Right.
And they took a chance that the Romulans wouldn't know this.
Because I was a little confused, because I'm like, why is he saying that? Because Captain Kirk really played it well, because I didn't know what was going on.
William Shatner gets a lot of crap for his acting.
Yeah.
And he's not Laurence Olivier.
No.
But for the roles he does, he's pretty good.
No, he was good in that role.
Yes.
When he was like, I'm going to kill you, right? And I'm like, what is wrong with him? And what is wrong with Spock? and being that you've seen it and you explained it to me a little bit better.
Yes. Then the captain says, I want you to do surgery on me to make me look like a Romulan.
Yes.
And get the clothing from one of the Romulan guards we have on board. He transports onto the ship. Now, by now, the Romulan commander has been trying to entice Spock, because one thing which you know now, but you didn't before this, is that Romulans and Vulcans are closely related.
I did not know that until that episode. So they look similar to each other.
They look similar, and there are cultural things that maybe connect them. She says, well, we would love to have you be part of the Romulan Empire. It would be great if you joined us and you could be by my side.
Yep.
She has him have dinner with her. She's hitting on him. She whispers her name into his ear. Yep. Which we never get to hear.
No, that's too bad.
When she leaves the room, Spock gets in contact with the captain and kind of lets him know where the cloaking device is. This sets off the sensors in the Romulan ship, and her second in command becomes aware that there's something going on. They come to her quarters. Spock comes out and says, okay, I admit it. I told my captain where the cloaking device is. She says, who are you to do this? And he's like, I am first officer of the USS Enterprise.
Right.
So I love. They go down to try to stop the captain, but by now he's transported off of the ship with the cloaking device. Romulan commander says, okay, Spock, I'm going to have to kill you. He explains that he wants to make a statement saying who he is and why he did what he did. She agrees to this. In the middle of his statement, they lock on his coordinates and begin to transport him off the ship. But the Romulan commander grabs onto him and is brought along with him back to the Enterprise.
Right.
They escort her to the bridge. By now they've installed the cloaking device. Her second in command comes on screen and says, I'm going to destroy the ship. He sees his commanding officer and she says, yeah, destroy the ship. I don't care that I'm on here. You got to destroy it.
Yes.
Enterprise cloaks, gets away. They explain that they are going to drop her off at the nearest starbase.
Right.
There's a scene where she's escorted to her quarters by Spock, and we just see them going down the turbolift, which is their elevator. There's basically this exchange like, why did you do this? And, I thought you were going to be my man.
Right.
Not quite so like that. But.
Not quite. Yes.
And it's basically explained that Spock's place is on the Enterprise. That's basically the end of the episode.
It's really good.
I love this episode. What stood out to it about you? It to you?
I think because the people, the crew and the Enterprise they didn't know what was going on with Spock for a while because he was having dinner with that Romulan woman, right? I wanted I was a little bit confused because I'm like, oh no, is he going to fall for her charms? Because they are, they were the enemies of the Federation. And so I'm thinking, is he going to betray Captain Kirk and the crew? But in fact, he did not.
What is this episode, especially Spock in this episode, teach us about loyalty?
Well, I thought it was interesting when the Romulan woman said, you know, Vulcans are not, do not typically lie, right?
Mm-hmm.
I keep saying right. I was going to sing right in this episode. Sorry. So it didn't surprise me that even though he lied to this woman, because clearly he did. Or am I correct?
Yes.
I knew in the end that he was going to be loyal to the captain and the crew. And I think he did that because he had to. He felt like he had to. He didn't want to be linked with the enemy of the Federation.
And to be clear, I've told you this before, people have misconceptions about the Vulcans.
Uh-huh.
It's not that they don't feel emotions.
Yeah.
And it's not that they don't lie. But they are trained from a young age to suppress their emotions.
Right.
And not to lie. But it's not like it's in their DNA.
Right.
It's just in their culture.
It's in their culture, yes.
So, like, Spock has a sense of humor, but it's very dry.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people think that Vulcans are always serious.
Right.
But they just have a different way of letting out their humor.
Well, you didn't see that episode where Spock was going back in time as a young boy to find out because he's Vulcan and human. So he is able to feel emotion.
Vulcans are able to feel emotions, but they're just taught at a young age to suppress it.
Right.
If I remember right, that's part of the animated show.
I don't know. It seemed like it was. I thought it was a part of the original series. And I forgot. I have to look. I think I have it. I forgot what the name of the episode is. It's when it's when Spock loses his ocelot. His ocelot dies.
I'm pretty sure that's from the cartoon, which...
If it was, it really seemed like it was part of the real show.
Well, we can talk about this a little bit. It was popular in the 70s to do tie-in cartoons to actual live-action shows.
Uh-huh.
But the thing that I think sets the Star Trek cartoon apart from most of those other animated series,
mm-hmm.
which don't really have much to do with the actual show that they're based on,
right,
is with the Star Trek show, not only did they have the same writing staff that they had on the live action series, mm-hmm. they also had most of the same actors do the voices. So when you hear Captain Kirk on the animated show, it's voiced by William Shatner. When you hear Spock, it's voiced by Leonard Nimoy. Oh,
so that's why it seemed... I don't know if that one was... It may have been part of the animated series. I don't know. It might have been, but no wonder why it seemed like the original series.
Yeah, in my opinion, the animated series is really, really good and almost on the same level as the original series.
Right.
Now, the production value is a little bit cheap, and you could tell because they keep reusing the same shots uh-huh. of the crew just being stagnant and of the ship. Mm-hmm. But if we're talking about story and execution, I really like the animated show.
That was in the 70s, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I think it's starting to get its due.
Wow.
But for a long time, it was like, why do people never talk about the animated show?
Right,
yes.
Right. Interesting.
Yes, Jay Wall.
Okay.
Jay Wall.
Good.
Yes. There's a book that came out on the animated series a couple of years ago.
Really?
That I want to read, but I can't find it on audio format or
Yeah.
in electronic form.
You said that Simon and Schuster came out with the Star Trek books, right? Like the Klingon language one. And you said there were other things, right? That was based on Star Trek.
Yeah. I don't know if they still do the books, but for a while they were in charge of it.
Okay.
There's hundreds of Star Trek books.
I didn't know that.
Some of them are really good. There are a lot of bad ones out there.
Right.
But there's some really good Star Trek books.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, you will.
Yes, Babu.
Yes, boys.
Very good.
Yes, you will. Is there anything else you want to say about this episode?
No, I really enjoyed it.
Yes. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you.
What's that?
What does the Romulan commander teach us about false expectations?
So, I don't know much about this woman. I don't even know her name. But I'm guessing maybe because she was so attracted to Spock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she was hoping that she could change his mind. Oh, he's loyal to the crew now. Maybe I could change his mind and he'll fall in love with me. Maybe I'll be able to manipulate him.
How much of that is due to her being a powerful woman and possibly feeling like that prevented her from developing her romantic life?
What do you mean?
I think to myself that if you're going to be somebody in that position, especially a woman, you had to sacrifice certain things to get there. And
right.
One of those things may have been relationships when you were younger.
And
because you're so busy studying and working.
And maybe she thought, well, I'm not getting any younger. Maybe I should start a relationship with Spock.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously that backfired.
Yes.
Yeah. So it didn't do her any good to start one or try to start one with Spock.
Although it would have been interesting to see the two of them have a couple of kids and, I don't know, buy a ranch somewhere. In
a Romulan ranch.
A Romulan ranch.
Welcome to our Romulan ranch.
And they do like the intergalactic version of Hee Haw.
What would they call it?
I don't know. Rom Haw, because they'd be on Romulan. She's Romulan, I don't know.
Rom Ran, I don't know. For Rom Ranch. or the Romulan Roundup.
I like that, the Romulan Roundup.
That's kind of funny. It's pretty funny.
Yes.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you liked the episode, babes.
Oh, good.
Yes.
That was good.
Yes, yeah. Whoa.
Yes.
Yes. Are you excited about tonight?
Yes, I am. I am.
We are going to watch The Meaning of Life and Used Cars.
Used cars.
I'm looking forward to it, babes.
Yes.
Yes.
Is Used Cars one of those acquired taste movies that you like to show me once in a while? Or do you think I'm going to like it?
I think you're going to like it.
Okay.
I think there's some really fun stuff in there.
Is it like in the same level as Kingpin? Or let me think. Or Barcelona.
I wouldn't quite say it's that good, but it's a solid movie.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
With Roy L. Fuchs and Luke E. Fuchs.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
They're brothers who run competing used car dealerships.
Okay.
Roy L. Fuchs.
Who plays them?
I think we talked about this. If I remember right, it's was it Robert Loggia, who I also want to say, played John Ritter's dad in the Problem Child movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Robert Loggia's playing both characters?
Yes.
That's gotta be funny.
That's him.
That's gotta be funny.
Yes, you will.
Fuchs, huh?
Roy L. Fuchs. And Luke E. Fuchs.
Okay.
You get it?
Yes. Very creative.
Yes, babes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And they're working at a car. They have a car business. Is that correct?
They're competing car
businesses.
Yes. Selling used cars.
Not new ones.
No.
Okay.
So, we'll see how you feel about that there, Jaylo.
Okay.
Okay, Jaylo. Okay. Babes.
Yes.
Is there anything else you wanted to discuss?
I gotta talk about my dream.
Yes.
Dream analysis.
Go ahead.
So I had a very, very strange dream last night. It was odd. Maybe I should talk about my two dreams.
Go ahead.
So I'll talk about the one I had last night. It was strange. I think I was listening to something that had to do with Passover. Now, granted, Easter is over, but whatever I was listening to, they were talking about what the meaning of Passover was. So I was in this house with some people, and some guy was trying to find somebody something to sacrifice, but he chose me. And he was trying to get rid of me pretty aggressively. He tried to hit me over the head with a board, and I got hit, but didn't kill me. And then towards the end of my dream, he was about ready to stab me, and I was pleading for someone to save me, and then I woke up.
Ouch.
Yeah. And then I realized, it's probably why I dreamt about it. It was because of Passover.
Oh.
And then I had this other dream that was even stranger. This happened it was somewhere in the beginning of the week. I think I had that dream on a Tuesday night, I believe it was. Monday or Tuesday. Anyway, I had a dream where this pastor was in my dream, who was the same pastor that I was listening to on this religious program. And I was in the church, and my niece ended up sitting next to me and repeating.
Oh, we talked about this.
Yes.
In the last episode.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh.
Because you were listening to the radio, and your niece and you listened to some Christian programs.
Okay. So I stand corrected. I actually did repeat that. So if you want to know more of the details, then watch the last episode.
There's going to be some separation, but go back to episode 156. What was it? Virtual date test, I want to say.
Virtual date recap.
That's what it is. Yes.
Anyway, so I'm not going to repeat the rest, so just listen to the last one.
Go to virtual date recap if
yes.
you're super interested. And it's near the beginning.
It is.
Yes. Because Alana didn't know we were recording at first.
No, I didn't.
But you eventually found out when I said, do you want to do that now or wait until we have a dream analysis?
Wait a minute. Okay, yeah, I know. But anyway, that was my weird dream last night, and it was very odd.
Yes.
Did you have any dreams last night?
No, I slept really good, and I didn't have any dreams. None that I remember.
Yeah, that was by far the weirdest dream I had as of late.
Oh. And I had a pretty easy ride over here. I didn't talk to the guy too much, but he was nice enough.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were talking to him at all when you were getting out, because I thought I heard you coming out of the vehicle, and then I heard you say stay safe, but then I wasn't sure if you were not talking to the guy at all.
No, we talked a little bit. It's just he was more concentrated on driving, but it wasn't awkward or anything.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good.
Yes, you will.
Yes.
Yes, you will.
Very good.
Very good, you will.
And then I suppose I can mention this.
Go ahead.
There was something wrong with the elevator.
Oh, yeah, because when we went on, the button for your floor was out of it for some reason.
Yeah, so I guess I'm wondering if it's supposed to be fixed.
We went up to the second floor and just walked up a couple flights of stairs.
Yeah.
Actually, one flight, but yeah.
One flight.
Yes, yeah, well,
Yeah, it was good, okay.
yes. Well, your place, okay.
That's right.
That's right, okay.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Do you remember seeing a nameplate on the door to the floor when we were coming upstairs? Because I don't think I've ever found one.
I wasn't looking, but I don't remember it.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it's not there, though.
I think the last time I walked up the stairs to get back to my place, there was no label, I think.
Oh. So you just had to kind of like remember.
I just have to remember how many flights. So if I'm walking from the main floor without the elevator, I have to actually walk up 5 flights.
Yeah, that's right.
Isn't that odd?
That is odd.
Yeah. But I'm glad we took the elevator because all I had to walk up was 2 flights.
That's really good.
Yeah. Anyway, it didn't ruin the morning. It's
That's good. That's very good. And then you fed me some chocolate.
I did.
Which I appreciate that. Whoa.
That's right.
That's right, you.
And there's a little more where that came from.
Oh, you.
Oh.
Is there anything else you wanted to discuss, babes?
No, I'm just, so far I'm having a great Friday, and I hope you are too.
Yeah. You want to give me a kiss?
Kissy. Okay.
Okay, babes, unless there's anything else you want to say, I say we wrap it up.
Yes, we will wrap it up.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye.